There is a moment that she will never describe to you, a moment that occurs in silence in private, often in the darkness of her room. When nobody is watching, a moment when reality hits her with a force she did not expect and cannot control. The exact moment she understands, with a clarity that hurts, that she has truly lost you. Not that she lost you weeks ago, not that you walked away, but that you are gone, for good, that you are no longer orbiting, waiting for her, that the man who was once there available, looking out for her, no longer exists for her in that way. And what she feels in that moment, brother, is something no woman will ever easily confess. But today, on Dark Illusion, you are going to understand it with a precision that will change how you view everything you experienced. If this channel is giving you what you cannot find anywhere else, like this video right now, and subscribe to Dark Illusion. What is coming in the next few minutes is some of the most honest content you will ever consume on this topic. Don't miss it. Let's begin. First comes the first impact when certainty catches up to her. It doesn't happen immediately. First comes denial. When you walked away, when you initiated the silence, when you stopped being predictable, she interpreted that change in many ways before arriving at the truth. She thought you were busy. She thought you were angry. She thought you were playing games. She thought you were playing games. She thought it was temporary. The human mind builds narratives to protect the ego before accepting an uncomfortable truth, and the uncomfortable truth, in this case, is this: he moved on without me. The first real blow arrives when something concrete confirms it. Maybe someone tells her that you are doing fine. Maybe she sees a photo of you, living your life, active, present in the world, without a single sign of collapse. Maybe enough time passes without you ever reaching out to find her. Maybe the silence stretches so long that she has no more excuses left to interpret it any other way. And in that moment, something inside her shifts. It is not sadness yet, it is more primitive than that. It is a shock of recognition that comes from deep within. The realization that something she took for granted is no longer guaranteed. And the human brain, as the neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett demonstrated in her research on emotional construction processes that perceived loss, before the conscious mind can even name it, she feels it before she understands it. And what she feels destabilizes her in a way she never expected. Next comes the review, when she begins to ask herself things she never asked before. This is where something happens that most men never see. Because they are no longer paying attention, she begins to review. Not the situation, but you. She begins to remember things differently. Moments that once passed without any weight, she now sees in a different light. A conversation she had with you, a decision she made. And in that review, she begins to wonder if she made the right choice. The psychologist Carol Tavris, author of fundamental research on cognitive dissonance and self-deception, describes something that applies here with brutal precision. When people make decisions they later perceive as potentially wrong, the brain enters a process of active justification that requires immense cognitive energy. That process generates an internal tension that does not disappear until the brain finds a resolution, and the tension she feels in this phase is exactly that, the tension of a decision that is starting to conflict with the reality she is seeing, the reality of a man who moved on, who is doing fine, who did not collapse, who did not need her in the way she assumed he would need her. That image does not fit the narrative she built to justify her choices. And when narratives do not match, the mind reviews them. And in that review, brother, you win a space in her head that you did not ask for and cannot control. You simply occupy that space because what you built deserved it. Next comes the void, the one thing nobody admits to feeling. This is the most uncomfortable phase for her, and the most revealing for understanding how female psychology actually works. When a loss becomes real, the void she feels is not the romantic pain one might expect. It is not crying while looking at photos. It is not the sweet nostalgia of remembering something beautiful. It is something deeper, more unpleasant, and far harder to admit. It is the feeling of having had something of value and not recognizing it in time. And that feeling, brother, has a name in psychology. It is called anticipatory regret. And according to the research of psychologist Daniel Kahneman, Nobel laureate and pioneer in the study of human decision-making, people suffer losses with an intensity approximately twice as high as the satisfaction generated by an equivalent gain. We feel loss twice as hard as we feel gain 5, what she lost. Now that she is processing it with clarity, is not just you. It is the version of you that she began to see only when you were gone. The version you built in the silence. The version of a man who does not need to convince anyone of his value because he simply has it. That version is what generates the void, because that man is no longer available in the same way, and she knows it. If you have reached this point and something inside you is waking up, this is the moment to act. Like this video and subscribe to Dark Illusion. We are the community that understands these dynamics. With real depth, your support helps us keep publishing truths that matter. Next comes pride at war with desire, the internal battle she will never show you. Here is the most complex part of this entire process, and the one you need to understand most. If you ever have to interact with her, after the silence, when she understands that she has truly lost you and internal war is unleashed between two forces that cannot easily coexist. On one side, desire. The desire to reclaim something that she now perceives with a value she never assigned to it before. To rebuild something she allowed to drift away. To know if a possibility still exists, that desire is real. It is intense. And it operates from the most primitive layers of her psychology. On the other side, pride. The ego that tells her that moving towards you after letting you go would be admitting she was wrong, that it would be a sign of weakness, that it would give you a power over her. She does not want you to have the pride that protects the narrative she built around her choices. This internal war is exactly what explains the contradictory behaviors that men do not understand. When a woman who rejected you begins to move in indirect ways, a casual text, that doesn't seem casual. A story designed specifically for you to see. A comment on something you posted. A question sent through a mutual friend. All of those are signs that desire is winning in that specific moment of action. But pride is still active. And when pride wins again, the movement stops. It retreats. It disappears, as if it never happened. Understanding this dynamic gives you something incredibly powerful: the calmness to not misinterpret the signals, and the intelligence to respond from strength and never from urgency. Finally, comes the moment of truth, what actually determines if there is something real. Not every process of perceived loss. And this video does not exist to sell you that fantasy. It exists to give you a real understanding of what is happening and what you hold in your hands. In that exact moment, what determines if there is something real after this process is not what she does. It is who you are when it happens. If, when she makes a move, when a signal appears that the process did its job, you respond from the same urgency and the same neediness. That destroyed the initial dynamic. Everything you built in the silence collapses in seconds, because the signal she receives is that you were still waiting, that the man you built was just a facade, that the neediness is still there. But if you respond from the calmness of a man who has built something real in the silence, from the security of one who no longer needs her choice to feel complete, from the strength of one who can choose with a cold head whether he wants her in his life or not, then something happens that is rarely explained clearly. The dynamic is reinvented, no longer from the original starting point, but from a completely different place. From a place where you have the value you always had. But now, both of you recognize it with the exact same clarity. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote it with a precision that cuts through centuries. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What destroyed the original dynamic was also what gave you the opportunity to build something stronger. What you experienced was not a failure. It was the beginning of the only version of you that can generate real and lasting attraction. That man does not beg. He does not chase. He does not wait with anxiety. That man lives, grows, and builds. And when she understands that she has lost him, what she feels is not victory, it is the heavy weight of knowing she let go of something she now recognizes with a clarity that hurts. And that weight, brother, is the natural consequence of truly building yourself. Subscribe to the Dark Illusion channel right now if you are ready to be that man. Like this video and leave a comment sharing which phase you believe she is in right now. I read every comment. I will see you